Hello. Today we will be pitching our company Reusable, an eco-friendly and environmentally stable company that aims to create zero waste. So as put by Khalifa bin Hendy, the CEO of Only Roses Dubai, the revolutionary business that will change the future of zero waste is reusable. As put by Kaysar Rida, the vice president of digital products at Everless, what these 5 students have come up with is remarkable. And a product like the reusable pod is substantial for the UAE to grow in their efforts to be a sustainable nation. Finally, said by Dr. Amani Fares bin Hamed, project manager at SCI in an environmental information group. The idea itself is wonderful. We are in need of eco-friendly products and packaging, and it would be awesome as to extend to other products such as lotions, toothpastes, and many more. Myself, I'm Ryan Tautau. I'm an extremely hardworking, intrinsically motivated individual who strives to overcome any obstacle that comes my way. I'm a successful musician and sportsman, and I've had a passion for business from a very early age. In the future, I aspire to be a highly successful entrepreneur. Oh, sorry.
Aliazia, unmute your mic, please, if we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Hi, I'm Ilyas Yasef. I'm ambitious, driven, and hardworking. I believe that the way I live as an individual can and will affect the world, even in the smallest ways. That's why I like to think, live, and act smart. I'm passionate about music, love building robots, and enjoy learning nonstop.
I'm Bati Al Musa, a goal-oriented individual. I focus on my duties with school, and when I complete them, I give time to my hobbies, such as spending time with my horse and riding it.
Hello, my name is Ali Makki. I enjoy learning about entrepreneurship, and I aspire to soon be a businessman / orthopedic surgeon. My hobbies consist of American football, basketball, fishing, and caring for animals. I plan on making the world a more sustainable place, starting here in the UAE.
Hello, my name is Mahal Kendi. I really enjoy being motivated and doing hard work. I also believe that if we work together, then we can make the world a better place. I plan in majoring psychology.
So understanding the problem. Every year, over 300 million tons of single-use plastics make their way into the world's oceans. This colossal number has had a detrimental effect on animal habitats and oceans, and adds to the already destructive enhanced greenhouse effect. Reusable aims to change just that. With the use of Nopla technology, Reusable is an eco-friendly and environmentally stable company that creates and manufactures a series of toiletries. Ranging from shampoos in a Nopla skin to packaging made from dates, Reusable aims to become a zero-waste company, the first of its kind. Every year, over 5.5 tons of recyclable packaging is thrown away. This huge number could be stopped, and using our Nopla technology, it could even be eradicated, saving millions of dollars. Our company. Reusable is an eco-friendly company that's looking to innovate the packaging industry through a variety of unique and user-friendly products. By using the technology of Nopla, renowned for being biodegradable and eco-friendly, it reduces costs for manufacturing and also lowers the amount of single-use plastics that make their way into the world's oceans. Reusable is the gateway to a zero-waste future. Created by 5 aspiring individuals in coordination with the Khalifa Fund for Young Entrepreneurs, Reusable aims to be in hotels and makeup stores around the country. Looking towards the future, Reusable is keen on creating shampoos, not only for humans, but for animals too. In this presentation, we'll be covering 4 main aspects of the business. Firstly, the product introduction, which is where we'll describe the purpose of our product and the problems that it will solve. Next, we'll move on to the SWOT analysis, which is a brief overview into our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Following on from that, we'll look at the market evaluation, which is where we're finding a process which accumulates necessities for materials, manufacturing, marketing, and business-to-business relations. And finally, we'll look at the finance synopsis. So within the finance synopsis, we'll evaluate modes of distribution, taxes and transport, and the manufacturing process itself. I'd now like to hand over to Al Yazia, who will take us through the product introduction.
Yeah.
When we designed the prototype, We made sure that it was simple and clear to understand. As you can see, it's 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. The reusable pod maintains a unique and strong structure while maintaining its biodegradable shell to ensure that it doesn't break during transportation. It also has the perfect amount of fluids for all hair length. The reusable pod is uniquely designed to fit the palm of the hand with ease. With no harmful chemicals, the reusable pod has no negative effects on ecosystems or habitats. So I'm going to get to talk about the packaging. Unlike our competitors, both our packaging and our products will be environmentally friendly. Each box will include 15 pods which last for 2 weeks. Instead of using an excess of packaging that destroys the environment, we will use the minimum amount that still keeps our product safe and undamaged. To create the packaging, we're going to use 100% biodegradable compounds, which means it would require less carbon to produce, reduces the amount of waste sent to landfills, and provide the earth with life-promoting nutrients. The boxes are made from dates as they are easy to plant and grow in the UAE climate. So, as you can see, the box can fit 15 pods, and it actually has more space to make sure that the pods don't break during transportation. It's also 100% decomposable, which means if you already have a zero waste lifestyle, you can compost the boxes into your composting bin. So I'm going to go through the shampoo and conditioner ingredients. I'll give you a moment to read through the ingredients and I'll continue. So as you can see, none of the chemicals used in the product are damaging to the environment and do not affect ecosystems in any way. The shampoo makes your hair smooth and works as a treatment for hair loss and regrowth. Those are the ingredients in the animal shampoos and conditioners. Organic aloe vera juice, it's good for the skin and fur. Organic coconut oil, it's extremely hydrating and is a great moisture that helps to provide a protective layer. Organic shea butter, it provides the skin with fatty acids and nutrients for collagen production to smooth the skin and prevent drying. Organic olive oil, it's rich in vitamins, minerals, natural fatty acids, and antioxidants. Organic sunflower oil, it's rich in vitamins A, D, and E. Organic jojoba oil, it's a great cleanser and an excellent moisturizer. Organic vegetable glycine, natural emollient properties which can soften and soothe the skin. Organic rosemary extract, a powerful antioxidant, uses as a presensitive and anti-inflammatory. So, here in Reusable, we focus on materials and manufacturing deeply. For the materials, seaweed and other plants used in the packaging are sourced from Southeast Asia. And for the manufacturing will take place in the UAE. First of all, what is napla? Napla is a material that is made out of seaweed and will be used in our products as a packaging that dissolves with the shampoo when in contact with water. However, the harsh weather here in the UAE, we can't produce the seaweed here. So we would have to import it from other countries that have seaweed. And as you can see, the high seaweed producers by far are China and Indonesia. As it is where we will get the materials from. I'll pass you by to Bati to explain the SWOT analysis.
Lottie, unmute your mic.
Hello. So, strength. In a time where resources are becoming sparser and sparser, a zero waste company would be both eco-friendly and highly profitable. Zero waste is a simple lifestyle that cuts down waste. Reducing, reusing, and recycling can help prevent deforestation and landfill. And simple changes into a zero waste lifestyle cuts down greenhouse gases by emissions by 25%. Weaknesses. The nut plus skin has to be imported due to the harsh climate in the UAE. Importation fees could potentially be expensive due to customs, taxes, and tariffs. Opportunities. A company that will thrive on conscientious generations to come. NotPlus is a very cost-effective alternative to rudimentary packaging and does not contribute as much to climate change. The NotPlus skin costs a mere 2 cents per pod to manufacture. Threats. There are a few companies that are using similar ideas to create products such as bamboo earth. Other companies might see this as an advantage to create a better product if a patent is not filed. Now I'm going to hand you over to Maha, and she will speak about market evaluation.
Target market group. Our ideal target market group is between the ages of 14 and 30, as they are more concerned about the environment over other generations. Millennials are more likely to buy our product as they are more aware of the pressing and environmental changes that we are currently experiencing. Main competitors. As shown in the graph, Reusable has the opportunity to take control of the market as over 70% is unused. OHO is a has the similar idea of Reusable. It uses NotPlus technology to create the skin. Our process. So first, we will start with the materials as seaweed and other plants used in the skin are harvested. Second is the manufacturing. The manufacturing of the materials are put together using special equipment in the UAE. Marketing. So for the marketing, we will advertise our products through social media and e-commerce. Lastly, business to business. We will sell our products via retail stores such as Sephora and through our website.
جربيها الحين وتشوفي.
Upcoming goals. One of our greater goals is to reach as many people as possible with our business and make our country more sustainable. Moreover, we want to expand the products we're selling and create a zero waste company. In the near future, we wish to expand the range of our products. Now I will be handing you over to Ali to explain the finance.
Okay, so we're going to dive into the financial aspect of this company. First, we're going to start out with manufacturing. The materials we're going to be putting together from Asia and will need to be harvested and put together using specialist technology. So the total cost to manufacture the skin and fill it with shampoo or conditioner will come out to 4 cents per pod. Taxes and transport. In order to bring the materials into the country, they will have to undergo customs and import taxes. From the customs, they will need to be transported to the consumer or wholesaler. The approximated total cost will be $300 in tax for 10,000 pods. Distribution to business. We plan to market our shampoo and conditioning products to grocery stores such as Carrefour and Spinneys, along with beauty stores such as Sephora for a wholesale cost. The approximated total cost of our wholesale would be 75 cents per pod. Profit margin. So we're going to be using the example, a benchmark of 10,000 pods. We look at our wholesale revenue. The wholesale cost wouldn't be that expensive due to the fact of our corporation selling units in big quantities. So we take the 75 cents, which is our wholesale cost, multiplied by the amount of pods we are currently looking at. That will come out to $7,500 in revenue. Then we look at price after customs. Since the importation from a Southeast nation will occur, we will need to pay customs tax as well as transportation costs, since it will have to pass through the DXB port. So we take our original 7,500, our initial revenue, and then subtract 300 from it because that is the customs fees. And in total, we have $7,200. Then the manufacturing cost. The materials we will use in manufacturing the product will be imported from Southeast Asia, which will allow us to build the product more efficiently here in the UAE. We take that $7,200 and subtract $400 from that, because the 4 cents that it costs to make per pod is multiplied by the 10,000, which is the amount of pods we're looking at. Net profit would be $6,800 which equals to 90.6% profit per pod. So now we're going to look at the technical math. This is going to be the profit per 10,000 pods. So the cost to make and transport, manufacturing. So it's going to be 4 cents to manufacture the skin and also manufacture the shampoo, conditioner, and then fill it. So that would be 10,000. That would be 10,000 pods, and then in total it would be a $400 cost for manufacturing. In addition, we have the taxes and transportation fees, which would be $300. So in total, it would be $700 in fees for every 10,000 pods. The total cost per pod would be 7 cents. The price in revenue, we would take our wholesale cost, the 75 cents, multiply it by the amount of pods we're looking at. That would be 10,000. So we would get $7,500. Total profit would be the $7,500, which is our initial revenue, subtracted by the total cost. So subtract the 700, and you have the $6,800 for 10,000 pods. So our profit per pod would be 68 cents, or a 90.6% profit. Take a look at the revenue streams. So we have two sides of generating revenue. We have the personal website retailer, which is a business to consumer relationship. And in the business wholesale retailing, it is a business to business relationship. So we have our personal website retailing, and that will ship directly to the consumer. Whatever money we gain from that will go into our general revenue. Then we have the business wholesale retailer, and then they will do unit distribution from Carrefour, Sephora, etc. And that will end up in our general revenue. And the reason why we have two revenue streams is so that we can generate an intercorporation competition. By doing this, we are forcing the other businesses that we distribute, that we give to them in order for them to distribute, a chance to put it at a lower cost so that consumers have a higher chance of buying the product. For instance, we plan on selling our product on our website for $1.50 per pod. And that is double the cost of wholesale. So that forces these corporations such as Carrefour or Sephora to sell it at a near cost. So that would be easily accessible for the consumer. So you might be asking what we do with the general revenue. We'll reinvest into streams to create an influx of income. Whatever money we gain, we will invest into corporate expansion so that we can build bigger factories, faster machinery, more employees, such and such. Distribution to business. In order to distribute to the customer, we will need to either sign a contract agreement with shipping companies, or we could have a small van that distributes to us at the same time advertising our brand. See below as an example. In order to bring the materials into the country, they will have to undergo customs and import taxes, as the seaweed and other plants used in the packaging are sourced in Southeast Asia. Manufacturing. Once the materials have been transported from Asia, they will be sent to the factory in the UAE, where they will be put together into pods using specialist equipment and personnel. Over 2,000 pods can be produced per day, and we're looking at that number as our initial manufacturing, but of course we will be able to expand and produce more in a day. Take a look at the competitive market pricing. So on the left we have L'Oréal Paris, which is a benchmark, middle of the road priced shampoo. They offer $30 for 300 milliliters. L'Oréal Paris is a well-known brand specializing in personal care. In the middle, we have Nobo, which can be looked at our biggest competitor. Nobo is a similar company that uses no preservatives to create their solid product. They are in the same environmental industry and are the main competitor that pose a threat. Nobo was actually founded in 2015, but they have different technology. In order to use a Nobo ball, you must have it between your hands, then wash it down, dilute it, wait for it to settle in, then kind of brush it back between your hands, then apply it to your hair. They sell it on their website for $1.50. And moving on to the reusable pod, what we have to offer, we will sell it on our website for $1.50, and then as a wholesale cost, as mentioned before, 75 cents. The reusable pods use no harmful chemicals or any preservatives to create a unique experience of zero waste. And to make it more convenient for the client, who will have 15 milliliters of shampoo or conditioner per pod.
I'd now like to walk you through our website, which is just here. So Reusable, our environmental movement. Founded in 2020, Reusable aims to create a world where zero waste is a reality. With a wide variety of products made from sustainable and non-harming sources, Reusable is the future of the world around us. Our campaign. We work to ensure that the community and local leaders have the knowledge, resources, and opportunities to make a real change in society. We see our campaigns as collective efforts and tools for connecting and building a stronger environmental movement towards zero waste. Our outreach. As a large movement of activists, outreach is close to our hearts. We believe that the best solution for society comes from within, and to make it our mission to build awareness so that it's a possibility around the globe. Millions of tons of harmful plastic is thrown into the world's oceans, polluting and killing animals and their habitats. At Reusable, we aim to eradicate harmful packaging and will pledge to make a world a more sustainable and eco-friendly environment. Partnerships. Reusable has built an environment of supportive and helpful resources to make sure that partnership is always a priority. Our success is driven by the hearts, minds, and souls of our community. Advocacy. Advocacy is an essential pillar of the numbers, and we work together to inform and encourage others to take a stand for what they believe in. Reusable aims to create a more sustainable future with zero waste. I'd now like to pass you on to Alyazia, who will walk you through the Instagram page.
So, as you can see, we have created an Insta account to raise awareness about the zero waste lifestyle and to inform people about our company and our products. And we actually got 100 followers in a span of a day.
Finally, we'd like to leave you with this message. Go green.
Go zero waste.
Go reusable.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. That was amazing. The judges will have a few questions now. Just a note to the judges, if we could just have maybe 2 questions max per judge, just to keep in with timekeeping for the other groups. So the judges will ask a few questions now. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you, team, for the lovely presentation. Actually, it had so much information. I initially had 6 questions for you, but you managed to answer 4 of them, so I'm left with 2, luckily. The first question I have in mind is that, have you done any research on the certification requirements or quality assurance requirements from the relevant authorities in the UAE?
Would anyone like to take that? I could answer that question. So we plan to make the factories in the UAE bring more jobs, especially in these current circumstances where a lot of people have left the nation to go back to their home countries since they've lost their jobs. We haven't looked into the certifications, but we have looked into the basis of contract agreements between partnership, transportation, tariffs, the friendliness between one country and another. But we haven't looked at the technical legalities, no.
Okay, and my second question is related to the costing section of your presentation, wherein I haven't seen the cost of setting up the factory itself or the storage warehouse that you would require to actually have that amount of quantity before you can actually start distribution.
Ryan, you want to take this one?
Sure. So initially with the funding of you guys, we would actually build the initial factory, and instead of building a separate warehouse, we'd create a space in the factory to store and allow the pods to stay in a safe place to ensure that they don't get broken during transportation or anything.
I would expect anywhere from 50,000 to 100,000 to start up. Whatever money we would be given, we would work with, of course. And we do have a plan. We have an idea about where we want to have this factory, anywhere like a place between Abu Dhabi and Dubai. As we've mentioned before, we'd have to import it from the DXB port, which is in Dubai. And from there on, we want to waste as little fossil fuels that it takes to transport it from Dubai to Abu Dhabi. So we want to put it middle of the road, but also have more jobs. Since it's Khalifa Fund, we plan to have it in Abu Dhabi though.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much for this amazing presentation. Really good effort as a team here. I have multiple questions, but I will stick to two, otherwise Ben will kill me. But my colleague Shayma have tackled some of them. My first question is, and I want you to think about this, how to answer this question before you jump on it. I want to know, are you a manufacturing business or are you a product-based business? So are you creating products, and that's the line of business you want to be in, or manufacturing sustainable packaging businesses and manufacturing it in the UAE?
Yeah, Ryan.
I definitely feel like we want to specialize in manufacturing. We would gain a more safer place, just getting rid of our inventory, having business-to-business relationships. As we mentioned before, we have 4 cents to manufacture, and those low cost, not focusing on creating the inventory and holding on to it and distributing it ourselves. Instead, we don't take the risk. We set up contract agreements, and once the orders are placed, we then start to manufacture and then ship it off. So using this type of relationship, there is a type of consistency. You know that the products are made fresh. Since they are biodegradable, they're made out of seaweed and a plant hybrid, the no plus skin. And but answering your questions in simple terms, yes, we do want to become a manufacturing business, but we're not opposed to expanding and becoming a sales business.
So product-based business.
Product-based business.
Another question, I mean, this is just a feedback in terms of finance. There's a lot of finance elements missing. So I would recommend that you go back and work on it because the concept is great. The other question is, you mentioned that this is something you want to do as a team and everything. So if, let's say you get the funding, who is going to run the business? From the team that I see today, like who will be in charge of running the business day to day?
I think it's best if we can set a schedule or something to have يعني all of the participants can contribute to the business equally.
Yeah, so adding on to what Al-Yazia said, we'd most likely appoint leaders to certain aspects. So Al-Yazia would most likely be in charge of marketing and advertising. Ali would be in charge of more of the finance aspect of it. Bhuti and Maha, they can actually get more on board with the contracts and distribution, and we can just work together as a team.
Okay, so hello, our group is the Transportation Group, and the company name is Track Insight. I'm Keenan Astorazen. I'm from South Africa, and I'm 16 years old.
Hello, I'm Ali. I'm 17 years old, and I'm an Emirati.
Hi, my name is Shayam. I am from Pakistan, and I'm 17 years old.
Hi, I'm Ahmed. I'm 15 years old, and I'm Palestinian. And I'm the one that designed the logo. The color scheme basically symbolizes the UAE going from being all in a desert and not using any electricity to developing really quickly, and now it uses green energy, which symbolizes the color green. The tram will also use green energy, so it works out really well. The movement in which the arrows are going shows going forward, which shows the development in the UAE. The name Track Insight basically means that the tram will always be visible to everyone in Abu Dhabi. And now over to Keenan.
Thank you. So the idea that the group chose unanimously was the Abu Dhabi tram concept. Now, this idea comes with 2 phases. Phase 1 will take place on Yas Island, hitting all the major locations. This will result in a total of 6 stations and a total of 6.5 kilometers. The trams will be eco-friendly. They will run on battery power, and nuclear energy, as the tracks will be electric. This will enable us to power them through the cleaner and cheaper nuclear energy, as the power plant is now available in Abu Dhabi to produce the energy needed. This will result in the trams reaching speeds between 50 to 70 kilometers per hour, and it will also result in a smaller carbon footprint than the taxis and buses which are currently in place, thus creating a more environmental and public transport-friendly image for Abu Dhabi. Especially since big events such as the F1 Grand Prix takes place on Yas Island every year, followed with a variety of concerts which bring in a lot of tourists. Phase 2 will initiate if Phase 1 is successful, allowing us to expand into the city going along Airport Road and the Corniche. Now let's talk about the tram's locations. The first station will be by the hotels in Yas Island, allowing tourists and residents who stay at the 5 different hotels to travel around the island with a convenient way of transportation and at a cheaper cost than their current option, taxis. The tram will then stop at the Yas Marina Circuit, Gate 20, as this is close to the concert entrance and is also an entrance to the grandstands of the track. The third stop will be at Ferrari World, a major attraction to tourists, followed by a stop at the Yas Mall movie parkings. Then the tramway will move towards Ace and IKEA, and then it will turn back heading towards Yas Water World, where the passengers will be able to go to the Waterworld attraction and the newly attraction park edition, Warner Bros. So next slide, there's a short animation of the tramway. The icons will slowly be popping up. You'll have to excuse the zoom, which make the icons a little difficult to appear. As you can see, they're slowly appearing. But in a short while, you'll see the pathway which the tram will take. There it is. Now I'll hand you over to my teammate, Cheyenne.
Okay, so I'm going to take you guys through 3 of the major aspects of our business plan, starting with idea, and then moving on to marketing, and lastly, finance. So let's start with idea. Here's 5 crucial things to know about our business. Number 1, this is an eco-friendly tramway, and that's something that is really important to us. I mean, one of the first things all students are taught in economics or business classes is to reduce negative externalities to create a sustainable environment. And that's something that we really had in mind when we were thinking of this idea. And we're really happy that we can create a tram service while keeping it eco-friendly. Number 2, this is a public transport service for all types of customers. We are going to be available and open to everybody for them to use our service. Next up, let's talk about the opening hours. So we're going to start at 5 a.m. and we're going to start running, and we're going to keep going all the way through to 12 a.m. So that's 19 hours, which we think is a substantial amount of time. And the last 2 things I'm going to talk about is how you can pay for the tram. So one way is that tickets are going to be sold on every station. You can just buy and then hop on the tram like that. And another way that we're thinking about implementing later is to put RFID chips on ID cards. So you can just have your ID card on you and you pay straight up. But we also know that everybody is on their phones these days. So we've decided to create a mobile app ourselves that'll not only allow you to pay straight through your phone, but also allow you to check the timings and figure out which station is closest to you on a map. And to talk a little bit more about the mobile app, here is Ahmed.
This is basically a prototype of how the mobile app would look like. Due to the short amount of time given to us, we couldn't actually create a functional mobile app. However, it will contain the timings for each stop, a section to book tickets, and a live map of where the nearest station is to you. You can also create an account if you don't already have one, and both Arabic and English languages are available.
Okay, so let's talk marketing. Let's talk about how we're going to get the word out to people about Track Insight. So in terms of our customers, we don't aim for a specific demographic. After all, this is public transport, so we are open to the general public, which ranges from people of all ages, like 17-year-olds like ourselves, to grown-ups, tourists, everybody alike. why our customers would want to choose a tram over other public transportation services. In our opinion, it's because we're reliable, we're cheap, and we're also environmentally friendly, which, as I already mentioned, is a huge focus of ours. In terms of the location, as Keenan already mentioned and pointed out, in phase 1, we're going to be running on Yas Island. Phase 2, we're going to bring our tram into the Abu Dhabi city. It'll be along the Corniche. It'll hit places like Emirates Palace, the MENA port, which is a new up-and-coming hotspot for tourists. So that's enough said about marketing. Let's move on to some numbers. So let's talk a bit about the financial aspect of our business. The first thing that we thought about was the startup cost, how much it's going to cost for us to get this thing up and running. Our estimate is around 823 million dirhams. And I know that's a massive amount of money, but you have to realize that we're looking at a much bigger scale here. So for perspective, Dubai's tram cost them a little under 4 million dirhams to make, and theirs runs around 11 kilometers. Ours is going to run 6.5 kilometers, and it's going to cost us, as we estimate, around 823 million dirhams. Now, in terms of what comprises that 823 million dirhams, we tallied up how much it's going to cost us to buy the trams, to buy the tracks, to pay our employees, and to set up a deal with contractors so they can get everything functional. I'll be happy to answer questions about that if there are any questions about the details of that startup cost. The next number we're going to look at is the service cost per hour. This was a particularly hard number to find because, as it turns out, there isn't much information out there about the operation costs of trams. Luckily, though, we did find an article online labeled Tram Construction and Operation Costs. And in that article, the author basically goes on and examines the operation costs for tram services, majorly in Europe. But we use that to kind of figure out and come up with an estimate of about 2,100 dirhams per hour for us to operate. Now that we're done talking about costs, let's talk about how much we're going to make ourselves, how much we're going to get back. So the first question is, how much are we going to charge customers? Now, as an example, the Abu Dhabi bus would cost you somewhere from 2 to 10 dirhams per ride, while the taxi is going to cost you a minimum of 12 dirhams. We are going to charge our customers only 3 dirhams per ride, and it doesn't matter how many stations you go across, it'll all cost everybody 3 dirhams. And we think that's a reasonably cheap price to ask for. And now that we're done talking about that, let's talk about how much we're going to make in total, how much our profit is going to be. So the thing is, our profit depends on the number of passengers we receive, and it's kind of hard to estimate how many passengers we're going to receive on a given day. So what we decided to do is we decided to figure out our profit we're going to get on what we consider a bad day for our business, right? So imagine that 62% of our trams are all running, but they're all empty. So the number of passengers only occupy 38% of the trams, which, by the way, comes out to about 900 passengers. If we charge only those passengers 3 dirhams per ride, we can still make a profit of 600 dirhams per hour, as you'll see there on the 4th bullet point on your screen. Now, that begs the question to be asked, what are we going to do with the money that we make? And to answer that question, we are very focused on getting phase 2, which will be in Abu Dhabi City, up and running as fast as we can. So we're going to plow all our money right back into the business when we're going to get phase 2 up and running. Okay, so we're done talking about the numbers. I don't know if it's just us high schoolers, but we get really bored after we talk about numbers for a long time. So I'm going to talk about something a little more visually pleasing for all of us in the form of a SWOT analysis of our business plan. And my friend Ali is going to go and take it away from now. Thank you.
Okay, so when we decided to do that project, we discovered a lot of strengths. One of it is that the trams are easy access, meaning that there is less waiting time. It is also eco-friendly, which is one of the major problems we have. And it also reduces traffic and noise pollution, saves a lot of money due to the low price of the tickets. It easily adapts to the number of passengers, which is great for events. It also allows sponsors to get exposure for the product. For the weakness, it is costly to build. As my friend Cheyenne said, it is 823 million. But compared to the trams planned in Dubai, which costed a little under 4 billion, it is a reasonable price. And while building the tracks, roads might have to be closed, but that's only for the short run. In the long run, it's going to be beneficial for the citizens. All startup funds will come from investors and sponsors. In an event of a breakdown, the tram system can be blocked, but usually in the UAE, there's a strong maintenance team, so this won't usually happen. And the payoff time period will be long. The opportunities it has. It will improve transport capabilities within the city of Abu Dhabi. There are no competitors in the area, which is amazing. There's a high demand for our service. It also provides sponsoring capabilities. Threats to the trams that we're planning. Other methods of transport, such as cars and buses, insufficient funding from the government, delays from investors, and approval can be delayed. As we have seen, it is kind of a trend in the UAE of them delaying projects. Also, self-driving cars are becoming more prevalent in the UAE or in the whole world in general, which can damage trams, but that's going to be like 20 years, 30 years, something like that. And now to the conclusion. Ahmed? Okay.
Yeah, so some of the uses and benefits for the tram is that it will be very accessible to use and it's very cheap. It's cheaper than most taxis, which taxis are charging 12 dirhams for, and we're charging 3 dirhams for. It's also eco-friendly. As my teammate Keenan already mentioned. And lastly, it reduces the congestion in the Abu Dhabi city, which in this time there has to be social distancing, and that helps a lot with the hygienic aspect of the tram.
So here are just some references that we use to get our statistical figures to make them a little bit more accurate. But thank you for watching. Any questions?
Okay, guys, thank you very much for that. As the judges, if you could please limit it to 2 questions each, that would be great. But thank you very much. That was brilliant. Judges, up to you.
Do you guys want to go first, or should I go?
Go for it, Shane.
It's really tough to limit it to 2 questions, but let me see. Okay, so my number 1 question. Have you gotten in touch with anyone from the RTA to know if there are governmental plans regarding having something like that?
Well, we haven't gotten in touch with anyone in specific, but we do know that the government has been planning to introduce a tram system for a while now. Yet they have been putting it off for a while. So we wanted to introduce this concept as a new set of eyes, a new idea.
Thank you. And my second question is that why did you choose to start phase 1 not in Abu Dhabi city?
Our original plan was to keep it in Abu Dhabi city, but then we realized the distance for the trams in the city will be much longer and the cost will be a lot higher. So we thought in Yas Island, the distance that the tracks will cover is a lot less, but they're still going to a lot of destinations, which a lot of people have interest in. And when we looked at the numbers, for a startup, the revenues might be a little bit higher in Yas Island.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, well done on the presentation. It's very exciting to see these kind of ideas, But I have two questions. I actually have more, but I have two important questions. The concept of environmentally friendly tram does exist in Europe and other countries as well. So it's, the concept itself is not new. It does exist. But in terms of your business, you've selected Yas Island as your hub for the pilot, I'll call it a pilot project. And you mentioned that Yas is very popular destination in terms of tourism, especially for Formula One. And then you mentioned the cost of setting up this tram at Yas Island. Very important thing you haven't mentioned is the duration that it will take for this tram to be built, and how that will impact business in Yas Island, not just during the Grand Prix weekend, but beyond Grand Prix weekend. I think that's something, if you can give me more clarification on how are you going to make sure that the tram construction will not impact business in Yas Island, given that it takes years to build such infrastructure.
Okay, first of all, in Yasin specifically, there are many routes to those specific areas. So I think Google Maps in turn will help a lot in building such a project. And I think it's better to sectionize where we build first, not all at once. Like for example, we built at this place. When we finish, we open it up and then build at the next. So it won't be impactful much. And plus, the benefits from building this project is gonna be way more beneficial, and it's gonna flourish the businesses even more in the long run.
Okay. Another question I have, I think my colleague Shaima touched on it. Have you studied how a city urban planner or the government or entities who are in charge of urban planning of a city, their master plans, you know, it's very hard to change a master plan. So have you considered, you know, collaborating or looking into this prior to selecting Yas Island? Because even though your pricing says 3 dirhams, and that's only amongst Yas Island destination, it's still too much. It's expensive comparing to the regular buses. People will challenge you for that. Regular buses are cheaper and you can go to more destinations.
I believe Shayan can answer this question.
Yeah, so the thing that we found with buses is that they do tend to be cheaper. You can pay 2 dirhams, for example. But as it turns out, buses, in terms of when one bus leaves the station, the next bus that comes, that time gap in between is going to be a lot longer than our trams. And so that's why we think, although buses can be cheaper, our service, is going to be a lot more convenient for people. And that's something that we were really focused on. So I do agree with you that the bus is going to be cheaper, but what I can say is that we're going to be more convenient overall. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well done, guys.
Ben, you're really limiting me here with 2 questions, but I'll try my best.
I'm sorry, if you want to have 3 questions, that's okay. I'm just thinking because of timings, it's definitely a lesson learned.
Sure.
Next time we do this, it'll be 40 minutes per group rather than 25.
I'll go for 2 quick questions for the team. You guys, when you talk about the project and the tram, and you're selling it, who is your targeted market? Who do you guys have in mind as your targeted market? Who are you selling this project to?
Well, see, as this falls under the public transport category, we're hoping that we don't have a specific target audience. We're hoping that everyone from all ages will partake on this public transport. I'd have to say, I think most of our customers will be tourists, as Yas Island is, once again, very popular for its tourism. But that doesn't stop residents on Yas Island, for example, in West Yas, taking the tram as well. Especially for teenagers, if their parents can't drop them or they can't drive yet, I'd much rather take a 5-minute walk to the nearest tram and pay 3 dirhams to get to Yas Mall than order a taxi and pay 12 dirhams.
Okay. So when I ask this question, I look for answers on, at the end of the day, who will pay you guys. So for me, or in my opinion, the targeted market would be the government, because these are the guys that would be investing in your project, and confirming that you can actually go ahead, because at the end of the day, you need their approval first, or maybe even development companies like Eldar, whoever. Dubai has RTA, so the tram is under RTA. So these would be my first and primary targeted market. Okay, so for number two, question number two, you guys mentioned that the benefits are reduction of traffic. I go to Yas Island often, and I am rarely ever stuck in traffic. Unless it's Formula One weekend, then I only go to Formula One. Then I would expect some traffic. But what would be your greatest benefit if this project goes on?
Ali, you want to answer that one?
Our greatest benefit is gonna be also reduction of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which is very important. Like compared to taxis and such and buses, that's one of the biggest advantages we have. That it's eco-friendly in reality, but also it comes out with other benefits. Reducing traffic, that might be not at this time, but in the future, I believe that Yas will develop even more, and it's going to be filled with people as it is a large tourist area.
Amen, inshallah. Thank you guys. I think that's it for me.
Blissful Health. Good afternoon. Today we'll be pitching for our business idea called Blissful Health. Our founding team members are Business Development Manager Maha, Media and Marketing Manager Reem, and Finance Manager Arya. We came up with this idea as a part of the Venturist Summer Camp.
So this is our business idea. Blissful Health is an online platform that's dedicated to helping people with mental and physical health complications. So we offer a variety of different tools and services, and it provides a lot of helpful information. The website offers all the different tools that can help you get back to the top feeling the best way possible.
Okay, so why mental and physical health? Why did we choose to focus about both mental and physical health? Well, like mentioned in the slide, according to the World Health Organization, the UAE has the highest regional level of depression at 5.1% of the population, and the country also has ranks high for anxiety with 4.1% of people admitting to a problem. When discussing mental health and physical well-being, the two should not be regarded as different. There is a fine line between mental and physical health. Likewise, poor mental well-being may have a detrimental effect on physical health, resulting in an elevated risk for certain diseases which we want to stay away from.
Market research and competitor analysis. So as you may know, in the UAE, we don't have many businesses or companies that facilitate both aspects of health, which is mental and physical. So what we did was combine both of them and made a website. So, and we also conducted a survey in which we received feedback from 287 people. And here are the statistics. Firstly, we have the question, would you want to see any particular features on this website? As you can see, there are a list of recurring feedbacks, which are all positive and good because we already thought of using them in our business idea. And secondly, we have, would you be interested in a website that can support you or others with your mental and physical health? 92.7% said yes, which is a good start for our business.
Okay, so what makes our business unique? As we all know, there are many other businesses that provide similar services, but what makes ours unique? Our business is created to tailor for each person's needs. We have chat rooms, social support groups, and counselors, coaches available to help you with whatever problems you are facing. You get a care box specifically made for you depending on your diagnosis to motivate you to continue your journey to a healthy life mentally and physically.
Okay, so here's what we aim to achieve with our business. So our business idea, as touched on before, was to ensure that all of our patients who are our customers are well looked after. We want to make sure that everyone who starts our program and comes out of it is in a better mental and physical state than they came in. So as well as helping our patients, we hope to use the profits that we made from them to further invest into our business.
Okay, so for the SWOT analysis, the strengths are our strengths include showcasing the importance of human health as a whole, physically and mentally, and battling any potential illnesses. People from all ages, ethnicities, and religions can find our services beneficial. Individuals will also be educated on the common health issues found in the UAE, and they will be able to take necessary actions to prevent them from happening.
Okay, so here are some of the SWOT analysis weaknesses. So there are many other apps that have similar purposes in and outside the UAE that people can use. Also, that means that naturally there will be a lot of different companies and competitors who are trying to make a big name. This project would, of course, require a decent amount of funding and volunteers as well as employees. We'll also be relying on customers to actually open up with us and talk about their needs. And also, some people may not be willing to pay for this type of service. They'd prefer to go somewhere else.
Opportunities. So firstly, we can create more normalized support groups for people who need it in the UAE. We can raise awareness about mental health in a positive way. We provide good visibility for partners, and we can become the leading platform amongst teenagers and other ages who seek guidance and support for mental and physical health. Also, we offer affordable treatments and services through a platform since we haven't found any yet.
Okay, so here are some of the threats. So as I said before, a lot of people might not be comfortable with joining a website that focuses on mental and physical health. So I conducted a survey which said that people from backgrounds within the Middle East, in particular families from Arab culture, would say that it is more difficult opening up about their mental and physical state at home because it's something that's not really touched upon in the family home. So again, this is something that we need to be very careful about. We'll touch on patient confidentiality later. Also, there are different competitors and a lot of people may not just fit well with this website.
Media and marketing. So how are we going to market our brand? Firstly, we'll use social media platforms. For example, as you can see on the right, Instagram and Google Ads, public events, media interviews, and we'll also create communication plans, which means we'll have seasonal offers and discounts.
Okay, so here are some of the finances, so the operations and startup costs. So firstly, the domain name blissfulhealth.com is currently for sale, and we have contacted the domain owner in talks to buy the domain name. So that price could be anywhere from 600 dirham upwards. The office rent for the space where potentially we could have face-to-face sessions could cost between 30 to 50,000 dirhams annually. But again, that depends on the size and location. The cost for the social media ads could be anywhere from 750 to 3,000 dirhams, whether that be on Instagram, Facebook, Google, or other platforms. The website creator who would need to form our site, the site could cost up to 2,500 dirhams to build, to have it fully functioning and working, to be able to support our business requirements. So the total cost, including all of this before we go into employee figures, could cost about 50,000 dirhams.
And for our counseling sessions, it ranges from 300 to 500 dirhams, depending on the length. And our care packages also ranges from 100 to 400, and it also depends on what the person requires.
Here are some of the competitors. Okay, so all of these businesses provide similar services which can cause us to have a competitive relationship with them, but we believe that our unique services in our business can attract many consumers.
Okay, so we designed kind of a membership form that would illustrate the types and costs that we offer. So in the newbie platform, or the people who sign up for the newbie, they have access to all of the videos, and they're also eligible for a free counseling session. It's like a trial. Many other companies like Netflix offer trials. So if they want to see if our counseling is for them and they would like to work with us, then they can obviously see that with their first session. And if you're an explorer, it's a step up from newbie. You get access to all the videos, and also you now have the ability to join social support groups and forums and maybe discuss potential similar issues that they have with other people. Also, you are eligible to get one counseling session a week for free.
The Icon is a monthly membership which has access to everything. You can get care packages every month and 2 counseling sessions per week. And for the Guru, it's a yearly membership which has both things which is similar to the Icon one, but you get care packages every month and 3 sessions per week if you need it. And for our potential partners, we can partner up with social media platforms to raise more awareness, Zoom, so maybe we can have our counseling sessions there, insurance companies, so that we can hopefully get insurance for mental health, Ministry of Health and Department of Health, Ministry of Education, so that we can have more counselors at school, clinics, hospitals, pharmacies, and delivery companies, so that we can deliver our care packages.
And of course, patient confidentiality is the most crucial part of our business, as we aim to make our customers feel safe and ensure their private information is protected by our business. We will follow all the confidentiality obligations of the healthcare provided by the UAE, which is listed in the slide. Here our website preview. This is how the website could look like if we ever created it. Here are all of the services provided. We also have a members chat where they can speak to other people that's going through the same things as the people are.
Here are the resources. And do you guys have any questions for us?
Thank you guys for the presentation. I really love that you touched upon a taboo topic that is pushed in the region. The second thing, I love that you have gone out there and done the survey and got positive feedback on your concept. I have 2 questions related to the costing section. One is that you have mentioned you'll have a mobile application, which I haven't seen any cost attached to it yet. And the second bit of the costing is that for you to go live and provide the services, you will need coaches, therapists, doctors, and that cost as well is not taken into account, but you have actually put the price for the membership, which I don't think would match the cost that you would receive from those individuals. So if you could answer the 2 questions, please.
If I could answer this, guys. So touching on your point, thank you for your feedback. It's appreciated. So as you said, the employee costs and how much it would cost for the therapists and everything, we need to take into account how many people would be willing to use our services. So we did the survey to see what kind of people would like to use this. And further on down the line, we'll obviously try and set up the company, of course. So when we get some more numbers as to who would be interested and spend money, then I think we need to start factoring in costs for employees.
Thank you. And what about the mobile application part of the question?
Maha can answer that one.
About the mobile application, we said that we would take this step by step. So we will try
starting a business through a website first, and if we get positive feedback on our website and our website becomes something big, then we can start introducing mobile apps.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for the presentation. As Shaima mentioned, this is a very critical topic, and I'm glad you guys took the initiative to work on this. My first question is, how are you going to convince, I saw the list of partners, like hospitals and clinics. How are you going to convince doctors and therapists to be part of your team in this business? What's your process there?
Firstly, we'll try to convince them and say that they can do volunteering work, and we'll also tell them that they can do good for the environment, for the society as a whole. And also, we have been trying to, like, if we have partnerships with different hospitals, they will be willing to help us because we'll be helping them too.
Okay, my second question is, actually there are two questions, but I'll put them in one. What kind of business you guys are? Because are you a medical entity, or what kind of business? And another question I want to ask, you mentioned the care packages. What's inside the care packages, or what is the care packages?
Okay, so thank you for your questions. With the care packages, so it could be a box which had information. So say it was physical health, so it was about, say there was a person with suffering from obesity who wanted to lose weight. So in the care package, there could be specific diet plans, specific exercise plans that fit that person's requirement. So it's like a custom-made box just for them to make sure that they're feeling like they're getting the most out of our program. So that's for the care package. And for the medical question about what we are as a business, I think it does sway more towards the medical side because we will be focusing on physical and mental health.
Can I add something? We will be focusing on the medical side, but as a whole, we are a tech business because we're not giving out the information. We will be connecting people, like the doctors, to patients.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think Kauthar and Shaima asked most of my questions. I just have one more, which would be, how are you guys planning to market such business to a market who still thinks mental health is a taboo topic?
Okay, so thank you for your question. What we were thinking was, so all of us have different friend groups, and with our social media platforms, I think a lot of people could reach out anonymously, whether we could add an additional forum on our website for people to anonymously submit questions and what they would like help with. I just think that within our society, there are different ways that people can express their needs and issues, because it doesn't necessarily have to come from them specifically. They can come to us from a different source if they don't want to be named. It's all about keeping the confidentiality. And I just think finding the right people will be difficult. But I think when, say, one or two people from a certain community opened up and started to talk to us as a business, as a collective, then I'm sure other people who they are friends with or family members would also potentially come and see us.
And what our biggest aim is, we will try to normalize mental health. We will try to make it a part of our lives, because everyone goes through something mentally in their lives. So through ads, through like everything, we will like try to spread awareness.
Good afternoon to everyone present here. So our group is the second environmental sector group, and we have created a business known as Maskora. Due to the current pandemic scenario, mask has become an incredibly important and crucial part of our lives. But due to the irresponsible disposal of masks, this has led to an increase in land as well as water pollution. which has led to the incredible harming of our environment. So we have created a business which we think will help by providing masks which are made of biodegradable materials, such as sugarcane waste, sugarcane bagasse, and other agricultural waste products, which will assist the betterment of the environment along with keeping the virus at bay. And it can be made using very simple equipment, and so we can quickly produce large quantities of masks. And masks can also be personalized along with different designs inputted by the customer. Our goal was to create masks that are biodegradable, authentic, and comfortable. And our product will not only protect us from the virus going on, it will also protect the environment by decreasing the amount of mask pollution in the world. Our mission is to provide people with biodegradable masks by using plant or plastic waste material instead of fabric, so as to spread awareness that plant waste material can be used for something useful. And our mission is to also increase comfort and increase breathability. Our objectives are to spread awareness of mask pollution and to show everyone that we can use plant waste material for something useful, and to also provide people with a platform where they can express their creativity on the mask which they wear, which they make by themselves, and to also provide customers with a reasonable price. How we came up with our business idea. So we thought about something we could do about the current pandemic situation. So masks are being used by everyone all over the world right now. So the irresponsible disposal of these masks has introduced us to a new type of pollution, mask pollution, which has increased land pollution and water pollution, which is leading to the poisoning of the environment. We thought of this business to decrease that mask pollution and to spread awareness about these biodegradable masks so people will understand that the environment should be taken care of.
So the process of our business, first the customers will use the app to choose their mask. They're either going to input their own designs or they're going to choose one of the colors that we'll provide. So once the order will be placed, depending on the design choice, the mask will be sent to the studio. The mask will be delivered to home using the courier service. It's a service that delivers an item from a location to another location. The cost will be paid on delivery by card or cash. So the most important materials we're going to use are sugarcane bagasse and plant waste materials. So our business proposal for the startup cost, it will go up to 45K, that's the maximum. The app cost itself is going to be around 25K to 30K. The making area, which is the studio, depending on the size, is going to be around 35K to 45K, that's our budget. So the mask without the design, which are the colored one, will cost 25 dirhams. The customized mask, depending on the design, it's going to cost up to 45 dirhams. So the machine we're going to use is called the disposable face mask making machine, which costs around 2,500 dirhams to 3,000. So how are we going to get the plant waste materials? So we're going to start a sugarcane farm because we have the right environment for that. And we're going to collaborate with local farmers and farms, which will provide us with plant waste materials and sugarcane.
So this is the SWOT analysis for our business. The strength that our business has is that the materials are easier to breathe through, which is important for people with existing respiratory issues. The material is obtained naturally from plant waste, such as sugarcane. And our business will not only help prevent the spread of the virus, but will help the planet as well. These masks can be made using simple equipment. It is biodegradable and made from waste plant material. The weaknesses that our business will face are post-pandemic, the business might reduce as there won't be much of a need for masks. And the material used to make the masks are obtained from plants such as sugarcane, which may be hard to come across here in the UAE. The opportunities for our business will be that the selling of this product will increase drastically in a short period of time, since the masks are needed in this crucial pandemic. Different types of biodegradable masks can be bought in from different countries to be advertised and sold through our business in the UAE. And this link we posted proves that biodegradable masks are needed all over the world, and our business can provide that. The threats that our business will face are material shortage, approvals, competition, financial issues, and a shortage in water and unsuitable temperature.
For the marketing part, the customers, the target audience is everyone due to the pandemic situation, and post-pandemic target audience will be hospital staff and those with respiratory issues and scientific labs. For the promotion, an app will be made which we will email to friends and family, also making pages on social media. We'll collaborate with different influencers, post-pandemic and clinics. The selling part, product will be sold through an app via home delivery, or masks will be sold in clinics. This is the app we created. It's very easy to use. You can sign up, choose the size, and start designing.
Sorry. And that's our business.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. That was wonderful. Okay, the judges, if you'd like to ask some questions, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Well done. It's good that you're taking advantage of a current situation, but my question to you is, what after the pandemic?
So after the pandemic, we're going to sell them to clinics, and that's going to be easier to give to our communities or hospital staff.
And also, even after this pandemic, people might be more like conscious of like how they go out, and they still might buy masks to be safe throughout the course of their day. So I think it won't reduce that much because people will try and be more safe due to what we experienced so far.
Thank you. And my second question is that the pandemic have been around for quite some time, few months now, and I'm sure different companies are coming up with different solutions similar to yours. Have you looked closely at those competitors out there?
So they're actually looking for biodegradable masks right now, but they didn't find a way to make them, if that makes sense. So our business can provide that to them, and not only to our country, to many countries.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, well done on the presentation. I have two questions. The first question is, you guys mentioned that you will be selling this in clinics and post-pandemic to keep the business going. Have you looked into the fact that is this mask that you've designed to be environmentally friendly is going to be medically approved to be used in these facilities?
I think we can also sell them to pharmacies, to people. I think that's what another thing. We haven't exactly searched about the medically approved yet, but we have searched that these materials which are used are some things that can be used to increase comfort and increase breathability. So that's what we found so far, and that's what we think will be able to help the hospital staff as well.
Okay. And another thing is, because it's going to be such a small business and there's a huge competition in the market and there's a lot of need right now, don't you think offering customization for masks going to increase your cost overall and the time of production?
It will increase the production cost, but it's something that maybe they can't put such complicated designs on masks as well, because it's something that's only covered this part of your face. So we think that they won't put that much of a complicated design. We put like a simple one which we can do quickly through the studio.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, good job on thinking of a sustainable, environmental friendly solution. In the cost section, I noticed that you guys don't mention any distribution, warehousing, labor costs. I would say even distribution would be your biggest concern. How come?
Tough question, guys. If anybody would like to have a go at that, that'd be great.
We included the courier service as our distribution. So, like, we'll deliver it
We're
using
going
the
to
courier.
avoid, we're going to do like a delivering service and all of that, but we thought of an easier way, which what Simana said, the courier service.
And we're gonna start small. So like we're gonna first be making the masks, and then we'll, as it grows, we'll think more about labor and distribution and that stuff.
Would you think that your business would mainly bring in customers B2B or B2C? By B2B, I mean business to business, so other businesses that will sell on your behalf. And by business to consumers, or reaching the end consumers, the person that will actually buy it and use it. What would you say that your focus is?
I think it's business to consumers. We think it's best to sell it directly to people.
Okay.
And post-pandemic, like after pandemic, then we'll start selling business to business, because not a lot of people will be buying the masks.
By business to business, it could mean literally a grocery store. So where did you find your pack of masks? You know, so these would be your main distribution points. You know, you have them on board, you guarantee that you don't have to worry about operations and how it reaches the customer. Khalas, you just send it and sell it to one customer that will sell it on your behalf. So this is what I would have in mind for distribution costs for such product. But yeah, good job.
Thank you.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. We are Innovigo, and I'm Daniel.
My name is Abdullah.
I'm Sihan.
My name is Malak.
And today we'll be telling you about our company, Innovigo.
So first and foremost, we've got a video that we'd like to show you guys. Hope you will enjoy. Daniel, I don't think the sound is on.
It's okay, guys. We can watch without sound.
Okay.
If you can always play the sound with the speakers, but it's okay. We're okay. We're good.
Okay. Okay.
Right, cool.
So yeah, that was, I hope that gave you an idea of what we'll be talking about. But who are Innovigo? Well, we are a company that wants to focus on and also heavily invest in order to dominate the electric car charging market in the UAE. We want to innovate by improving efficiency of chargers, and also we want to place them in convenient places like malls and car parks. We want to set prices that can also compete with petrol prices, and in addition to that, we want to conduct research into creating more efficient and faster chargers.
Sales of electric cars topped 2.1 million globally in 2019, surpassing 2018, which is already a record year, to boost the stock to 7.2 million electric cars. As technology progresses in the electrification of 2- or 3-wheelers, buses, and trucks advances and the market for them grows, electric vehicles are expanding significantly. Therefore, the demand for the electric cars has increased and more people have begun to rely on electric car chargers, which is a complementary good for the electric cars. As you can see from this chart, the number of chargers in the outlets has gradually increased from 2011 to 2018. In 2018, 60,000 chargers was demanded.
So Innovigo aims to help the automotive industries change towards an electric future by providing the most convenient ways to charge electric vehicles to the consumer. We also want to strive to push the industry forward with research and innovation towards charging and efficiency.
So our group created this SWOT diagram so we can better explain our company's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So starting with our strengths, our company makes it convenient for individuals with electric cars to charge their vehicles. It will also be better for the environment, and it will be supported by governments who are aiming to reduce their carbon emissions. Moving on to our company's weaknesses is we may sometimes struggle to compete with petrol companies. But then moving on to our opportunities is there isn't a large company in the UAE which is striving to achieve what we are trying to achieve. We can capitalize on this opportunity and create a large firm. We will also provide job opportunities for people who specialize in the fields that we are offering. Our company's strength, our company's threats, although there are not many, but if a large company with better capital and more resources enters the market, we may struggle to compete with them.
Innovigo aims to establish a company and sign agreements with key mall developers in Abu Dhabi to secure location in key areas to charge cars.
So we aim to have more than 5 locations in 5 malls in Abu Dhabi, and more specifically, we'd like to work with big companies that developers such as Alda, and we think that they will want to work with us as it will help them provide a better environmental image for their brand. We also want to develop an app that will work seamlessly alongside our charging stations. The app will be used to reserve charging places and also to act as a form place for payment.
Project cost analysis. It contains from fixed assets and the other costs. Switchbox is around 25,000 dirhams and cost to develop up 100,000 dirhams. We need a car to get around with them. It's 40,000 dirhams. Laptop and IT systems, it's around 10,000 dirhams. Furnitures for office is 15,000 dirhams. And the other costs, salaries for 1 manager, 2 technicians, and 1 admin, it's cost around 63,000 dirhams in 3 months. Visa costs 36,000 dirhams. Registrations is around 10,000 dirhams. Branding 10,000 dirhams. And finally, office rent, it's 50,000 dirhams. Main assumptions. Number of a car in a day in each location, 30. Number of location, 5. Price for a car to charge at our station 15 dirhams. Expect sales in a day 2,250 dirhams. Electricity cost for a car 3 dirhams. Rent cost per location and per year 20,000 dirhams. Salaries 21,000 dirhams in a month.
So using our main assumptions, we can estimate that in our company's first year, our sales will equate to 821,250 dirhams. Our direct cost will equate to 164,000 dirhams. Our salaries will equate to 252,000 dirhams. Our rent would be 100,000 dirhams. Our other expenses, such as registration, maintenance, office rent, and other things that we may need, will equate to 80,000 dirhams. Our marketing strategy would cost us around 30,000 dirhams, which will leave us with a profit of 195,250 dirhams.
So as a conclusion, our company is aiming to revolutionize and also lead the electric car revolution starting in the UAE. We will then bring healthier skies and cleaner air for our society in the UAE. We also hope that Innovigo will bring convenience and confidence to the consumer to own an electric car in the UAE. This will then drive forward the change to electric cars.
Thank you for listening, and if the judges have any questions, we would be happy to answer them.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, team. Great job. I would be very biased with this presentation because I own an electric car and I have two struggles, one of which you've tackled, which is having different points to basically get the car charged. My second point, which wasn't tackled in this presentation, is the speed of charging the car. So sometimes I do find the point, but the time it takes for it to charge at least 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers, it would actually take a lot of time. So I wanted to know if you've looked at that aspect and how you can enhance that for the end user.
Well, we had. Go ahead, Daniel. Daniel, you can go ahead.
Okay. Well, we know that there are different types of chargers, different chargers that provide more power or less power, and we know that even though that the more powerful chargers are more expensive and may induce higher maintenance costs, we think that us aiming to use the higher power chargers will be more attractive to the consumer, especially when they want what's best for them, and a faster charging time will be better for that purpose.
We also mentioned in the first slide that we will be conducting research to create faster chargers, but we only talked about it for a brief time. We should have talked about it more.
Thank you. My second question is that I do understand people are being more environment friendly and understanding the value of protecting the environment, and a lot of them are going towards owning electric cars. But is it enough market for you to sustain the business and have it feasible?
Maybe not right now, but as time goes on and more, like the electric car industry has been growing every single year. So as that industry grows, we would help increase the size of that industry, as our company would tackle the problems with electric cars, which will persuade people to buy more electric cars, which would even, like, our company would help ourselves and we'd help the electric car industry as well. So
yeah, adding to what Abdullah said, if we're hoping that if we provide the convenience for the electric car user, it will also help kickstart the electric car industry in the UAE, like we've seen in America and also in the UK.
Thank you.
Guys, well done on the presentation. I have 2 or 3 questions, but I try to stick to 2. I'm actually very much involved in the electric automotive industry. I've invested in some businesses within this sector, so I know how big is this market, but I also know how challenging is this market. there's a huge competition. You see businesses or manufacturers like BMW, Tesla, and Porsche providing their clients with charging facilities for their cars. But there's also the challenge of having the charging units across the city, let's say across Abu Dhabi. But recently, ADNOC has also announced that they will be installing electric car chargers within ADNOC stations. So how are you going to stand out with big players like Porsche designing a universal charger that charges any kind of electric cars, to Tesla, BMW, and Porsche investing so much in research and innovation and expansion outside their hubs, and ADNOC going through all their stations, if not most of the major ones, with charging units? How are you going to stand out with your business?
Well, these companies such as ADNOC, they provide electric stations in their actual petrol stations. But what we're going to do is we're going to provide charging stations in places like malls and maybe even like in buildings that people rent and live in. This will create a convenience for people that they may not find in petrol station, the charging facilities in petrol stations. We will also be conducting research to create faster chargers, which will make it even a lot more of a convenience to people.
I'm just saying that Porsche, BMW, and Tesla are installing chargers also in different locations like shopping malls, like the Box, City Walk, and so on. So they're not limiting themselves to gas stations. That's just ADNOC. But another question, this takes me to my second question, which is, how much did you study the structure of doing business in this sector? Because partnering up with a company, a developer like Addar, or any other company, in fact, the structure of any kind of deal like this works more in their benefit. They make the investment. So I want to understand from your perspective, how did you structure this costing when it comes to dealing with developers? Because they own a lot of assets. And it's, by the way, and it's not easy to make money on the setup that you have right now. So what was the thought behind that? I want to know if you've thought of something different that we don't know of, or.
Okay, guys, give this one your best shot. The Kalpaz likes asking tough questions, and we do know that it's a boot camp, and the meaning of the word boot camp is that it's fast tracked over 8 days. But give it your best shot, guys. Okay, thank you.
Well, to try and answer your question, well, we understand that it may not be as easy as us offering them, some charges to put in their car parks. Maybe we could offer, shares in our company or something like that. We haven't actually thought about it that hard, but I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to fully answer your question.
Fine. I appreciate your honesty. That's saying that I'm not sure, because that's a good trait to have in an entrepreneur. When you don't know, don't try to find out the answer and then come back. My last thing is, there's a very big challenge, and Shema would agree since she drives an electric car, the challenge of finding the stations across the city. The idea that you have, the passion you have is great. Think about the consumer. Always the consumer, because you might actually change your business model or your concept to be more appealing to consumers, because the biggest challenge is finding these stations, not investing in it or installing it. This is already in the pipeline. So I'm just giving you this as an advice, because I really, really love this idea, and I know it's needed, not just in the UAE, but in other countries as well. And thank you.
We can have it in the app.
Exactly. So think about your business idea again, revisit the idea.
We will, thank you. I really enjoyed your questions.
No problem.
Okay, guys.
A couple of quick questions, Ben, from my side. First of all, in the partnership side, I was kind of like surprised. Why isn't Abu Dhabi distribution company on your list, since they're the main distributors of electricity? Second, I really wanted to buy a Tesla earlier this year, but my first and only struggle was that I'm not able to find electric chargers within the city. And what if I was stuck and I'll have to go through all of that hassle, especially that I'm on the road most of the time. So I really, really appreciate this idea, and I hope it comes to reality. And Kauthar, please, yeah. And third point, I work with Abu Dhabi distribution company a lot in terms of electricity, innovation. So if any of you want to dig into the project even further, I'd be happy to connect you. But I'd say, these guys would be your main supporters. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Sadly, we didn't really dig into that part. We should have really done more research on that part. But thank you so much for that point.
Of course. All the best, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. You held yourselves very well there, well composed. And of course, some of the difficult questions to answer there. If we had more time or we was to continue to do this in the future, you would then look at those points and realign your business according to the feedback. That's the whole point why we had this judging, is so that you can then look at your business plan, edit, change, and then go again. That's why it's a wheel and not a straight line.
First of all, I want to say on behalf of the judging panel that we really enjoyed listening to your ideas and learning more about your passions. And I feel we are very fortunate to have young people like you guys who thinks of really stressing topics that not benefits just the UAE, but globally. But as you guys know, unfortunately, there will be only one winner. And but the rest of the teams, I have to tell you, it was very difficult for us, the judges, to select the winner. But we had to really go to the minor details to make this final decision. So the winner for today is Reusable. Congrats. Well done. You guys done an amazing job with your presentation. It was very clear to us from a concept perspective, from a presentation, the idea itself. So well done on working hard as a team and showing us your best. The rest of the teams, you guys also done an amazing work. It was a very slight difference. It was really tough, but yeah. So I hope you guys are going to continue with this business idea. And I'm pretty sure that there will be a lot of people interested in either investing or mentoring or guiding you through this journey. Congrats.
Okay, how do you feel, Reusable? Anyone would like to just give your thoughts on how you feel about winning? Ryan, how do you feel? I see you.
Sure. I feel ecstatic. I'm really thankful for the team we had. Everyone contributed extremely well. I think that together as a team, I'm just really excited for the future.